that only a woman can meet. And there are needs that a woman has that only a man can meet. Men and women in today's culture and society are not right. They're not good. It is not good for you to sit at home with your cat and seek affection and intimacy with your dogs. That is not right. A dog, an animal, a pet was not created to fulfill your needs. Follow the design, the divine design for man. And that's man and woman bound and yoked together, working together, pulling together for their divine calling and their divine purpose together. And a lot of you ladies who are into the occupation and, oh, you don't want to leave your job. Well, when you become married, you take up a new occupation. You take up the occupation of a wife. You have, and this is what, a lot of people don't understand about marriage is when you give your time and your energy to your job, your productive capacity. They take your energy, they take your strength, they take your time, resources, and then you go home and you give your husband the leftovers of what you have to offer. You neglect the ministry that you were created to fulfill. Your prime ministry as a wife is to minister to your husband. Yes, there is also a ministry to your husband's children that you have given him, and oftentimes us husbands have to sacrifice the time and the closeness and the intimacy, with our wives so that our children can be fed. But you were created for that man. That is your divine calling. Your children are going to reach a certain age where, mommy, I ain't got time for you. You know what I mean? And so your divine calling is to minister to your husband. And when women start understanding that and start following the design, and men start following the design that God has created us men, when God set us in the garden and told us to work the field, we were commissioned as in the act of husbandry. You know what I mean? That's where we get oftentimes, the title husband from the cultivation of plant life. Being a vine dresser means you gotta go and you gotta water that vine. Your wife is your vine. Is she your fruitful vine? Is she well watered? As a husband, your duty is to care for the vine. Don't let it shrivel up and die because you haven't paid attention to it. You neglected her needs. And so, yes, men, you have a duty to care for the vine that's in front of you, your wife, who nourishes you, who brings you those grapes that are a blessing into your life. And so that satisfy. So there is a calling for a husband as well to pull, when your wife is being attacked by pests and invaders and cutting off the dead things that seek to choke out life, and saying, hey, honey, what you feeding your mind? Are you listening to that serpent in that tree again? Is that what you're doing? Get away from that devil. Get away from that music. Get away. And wives, you gotta submit. Okay, husband. with that quiet and gentle and humble spirit that makes them so beautiful. You know, men, we have a job to do. We have a duty, and that's to care and pay attention to our wives. Those of us who are married, those of us who are single, I'm paying attention to my future wife in my brain and trying to figure out how I'm going to care for her the best way that God enables me. And so here, these lessons are to help the Christian men out there who think that they don't need a wife. Bro, you need one. You were created for a wife. You need her to help you fulfill the mission and the calling of being fruitful and multiply. This is why God gave you a sex drive and said, I need you to fulfill that. And we kind of need a helper for that mission. Not just to have women who, use our children against us, use our heart, our seed, and try to destroy us. That's a worthless woman. I'm sorry. Any woman who's using my child against me to try to destroy me is a worthless woman. You know what I mean? And women who abandon their husbands, men who abandon their wives, you can't lose a part of your member and not be damaged. You have to attend to the ministry of your wife, husbands. As a vine that can get overrun by ants and infestations and pests and, blight and mildew and things of that nature that destroy your wife, you have to tend to her so that she's fruitful and multiplies, so that a harvest of life is found in her. You have to be a vine dresser for your wife so that she's healthy and she provides those blessings to you. That fruit that you're looking for, that blessing. You're caring for yourself, the members of who you are. And so, men and husbands, we need to be more attentive to our wives' needs. Because she is you. She's yourself. She's your flesh. To neglect your needs, or her needs, is to neglect your needs. And when she neglects your needs, she's neglecting her own needs. Because the two become one flesh. And it's not, honey, I want to act like I have a headache so I can roll over and go to sleep. When you do that out of selfishness, out of tiredness, out of weary, you starve your husband. You fail to fulfill the duties that God has given you to minister to your husband's needs, that only you are the source of that ministry. If you fail to fulfill that duty to your husband, then your husband starves. And if he starves long enough, there's no telling what he's liable to do. The temptation seizes him in, the battles. And so this message in my time is almost up here. It's counting down on me. This lesson is shifting our perspective on what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a wife. Mankind is a team effort between man and woman, yoked together and moving and pulling in the same direction. Allies, not enemies. Ministering to each other, building each other up. This is the calling of man and woman. Shalom. Blessings upon you all.